Created by the legendary Jim Henson with works dating back to 1955, The Muppets as we know them today first officially debuted in 1976 with their very own TV show. The Muppets would go on to cement themselves as cultural icons, changing the world of entertainment forever thanks to a lovable cast of characters, impressive puppetry, a unique brand of humor, and overall kind-hearted nature and sense of goodwill. Due to the massive popularity of The Muppet Show, it was only a matter of time before we were graced with something bigger and better. That was, of course, The Muppet Movie.
Ah! Waka waka waka! Okay, stand by, here we go!
Released in 1979, The Muppet Movie needs no introduction. It has cemented itself as a marvel of filmmaking and an all-time classic. It's no secret that I've always been a huge fan of The Muppets, and this movie is no exception. The film loosely tells the story of how the Muppet crew originally came together.
Is this about how the Muppets really got started?
Well, it's sort of approximately how it happened.
Following Kermit the Frog as he leaves his humble swamp on a quest for Hollywood.
Did you say Hollywood?
Read my lips. Hollywood. You know, Hollywood.
Along the way, he meets Fozzie Bear and several other friends eager to join in on his journey to become rich and famous.
Well, we've come to be rich and famous.
Of course, being rich and famous is just a formality, as Kermit's main motivation to become a movie star is simply to make millions of people happy. It's the perfectly wholesome motivation you would expect from his character.
I'd miss this old swamp, but millions of people happy.
Of course, things aren't as nice as they seem, as Kermit is relentlessly stalked by Doc Hopper, a southern restaurateur with a passion for frog legs.
Hi, I'm Doc Hopper.
He desperately wants Kermit to be his mascot and is willing to make it happen through any means necessary. Between the simplicity of his goal and how specific his motivation is, it makes for the delightfully cartoony villain you'd think would antagonize the Muppets. Like, who even eats frog legs that much anyway, if even at all?
All right, you got your French fried frog legs au gratin, you got your frog legs au Medina, you got your frog legs stroganoff. Everybody happy? All right.
Hopper perfectly fits the tone of the movie, and it's entertaining itself to watch him get more and more unhinged as the plot progresses. He goes from simply wanting to give Kermit a job to straight up trying to kill him. A bit extreme, don't you think?
All right, boys. Kill him.
The Muppet Movie is a wholesome road trip filled with positivity and imagination. It features everything that you would expect from the Muppets. There's no shortage of gags, both in the visuals and in the dialogue.
Hey, Fozzie, I want you to turn left if you come to a fork in the road.
Yes, sir, turn left at the fork in the road. Permit!
I don't believe that.
There are so many different jokes and styles of humor that something is bound to make you laugh. It's just a funny movie with humor that is distinctly Muppet.
Fozzie!
Yes?
Bear left!
What?
Bear left!
Right frog!
What?
Never mind.
That's cute.
The Muppets do love a good fourth wall break, and this movie certainly delivers. The whole thing is framed like a film that the Muppets themselves made, opening up plenty of jokes by that concept alone, such as characters interrupting the movie, or the Swedish chef having difficulty with the projector.
Hey, what happened?
One of my favorite jokes has the band, Electric Mayhem, just read the screenplay to understand what's happening, rather than being told the exposition.
Well, let them read the screenplay.
Ah, yes, sir. You see, it starts here on page 1.
It gets me every time and will never not be funny.
Let's see. Exterior swamp, day. In a long helicopter shot, we discover Kermit the Frog, playing his banjo and singing.
As is Muppet tradition, there are celebrity cameos riddled throughout the movie. This does make some bits quite dated, as it firmly solidifies the film as a time capsule back to 1979.
Like, can you get behind it?
There are some familiar faces, such as Steve Martin, Dom DeLuise, and my personal favorite, Mel Brooks. He goes nuts in this movie, the man's a Looney Tune.
Cerebrectomy, electronic cerebrectomy.
What does it do?
But beyond that, I can't pretend that I know who most of these celebrities are. A lot of the references are lost on me and will certainly be lost on most new viewers. This can be seen as a slight negative, as I imagine a lot of the humor relies on knowing who these people are, and not every joke is a win. To this day, I've never fully understood this myth joke.
Yeah, but she's my myth.
No, myth.
Yes?
What the hell?
I actually googled it while writing this script, and now that I get it, it's still not really that funny. That being said, there's still plenty of entertainment to be had, even if you don't get everything.
You don't go to Bombay to become a movie star. You go where we're going, Hollywood.
Sure, if you want to do it the easy way.
We picked up a weirdo.
Another classic staple of the Muppet movies is the fantastic music. There are so many classic, iconic tracks here that would become staples of the franchise. Some examples would be the absolutely beautiful Rainbow Connection, a song synonymous with Kermit since its inception, and is the perfect song to summarize what the Muppets stand for as a whole.
Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
There's the super fun, feel-good, moving right along, a catchy, bouncy road trip tune that will certainly get stuck in your head.
Moving right along.
Footloose and fancy free.
Getting there is half the fun, come share it with me.
And then there's my personal favorite, the ultra groovy, super funky Can You Picture That, as sung by the Electric Mayhem themselves.
I focus on the pleasure, something I can treasure. Can you picture that? Can you picture that?
There are so many other things to love about the Muppet movie, like the impressive practical effects. Of course, I would expect nothing less from the visionary Jim Henson, but that doesn't take away from just how great everything looks even to this day. All the effects are done practically and in camera. For example, the climactic scene where Animal becomes a giant is a huge standout. Jim Henson didn't want to just use a miniature set or a green screen. That would be too easy. Instead, the crew built a giant animal head just for the movie. The difference really shows, and the effect looks great. Probably the most iconic effect is Kermit riding a bike. This honestly blows my mind. How did they do this? Well, I know how they do it, it's been explained to me, I've watched the behind the scenes. But even with the explanation, it still makes no sense. It's just so cool. The bike riding effect would become a consistent flex by the Jim Henson Company and Muppet Studios, with a dramatically improved version showing up in 1981's The Great Muppet Caper, and it was even squeezed into the classic attraction, Muppet Vision 3D.
Okay, everybody, stay in focus, huh?
The movie is very well shot too. It has to be. In order to make the Muppet characters look right and blend in with the sets seamlessly, plenty of clever camera work is a must. The bare minimum was never an option for Jim Henson, and the man loved his ambitious crowd shots. From this movie onward, every Muppet film has at least one scene where it tries to cram as many characters on screen as possible, and it always looks great. I can only imagine how much of a process it must have been to pull off these shots.
A bear in his natural habitat. A Studebaker.
So that's my look back at the Muppet movie. It's a fun, wholesome road trip with a bunch of misfits in search of happiness. It features innovative cinematography and effects with a lovable cast of characters. Whether it's the humor or just general good nature, it won't fail to make you smile and is one of the top feel-good movies of all time.
Kermit, does this film have socially redeeming value?
Oh, I certainly hope so, Sam.
Despite some aspects of the film being somewhat dated, it has stood the test of time and has continued to be a beloved classic for decades after its release. It was even re-released in theaters this year to celebrate its 45th anniversary, further showcasing its staying power. It just goes to show that no matter how much time may pass between films, how many shows may get cancelled, and how many attractions may close, the Muppets are here to stay and just keep moving right along. If you haven't gotten a chance to enjoy the original Muppet classic, it's about time that you did. Check it out.
Life's like a movie, write your own ending. Keep believing, keep pretending. We've done just what we've set out to do.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Joe's Drive-In. I hope you all liked this look at 1979's The Muppet Movie, and I appreciate those of you that made it this far into the video. I hope you choose to subscribe, like the video, and share with your friends. And that being said, please enjoy this special announcement. It's that time of year again. That's right, Halloween is almost upon us. You know what that means. It's time for our annual Joe's Drive-In Halloween Marathon. In 2022, I took you on an abridged journey through the evolution of horror films with 13 Days of Halloween, History of Horror. In 2023, I finished what I started, getting more in-depth, filling the month with 31 Days of Halloween, 100 Years of Horror. The horror history lesson is over, so what will 2024 hold?
With the swiftness of a deadly cosmic ray, the Earth is invaded by indestructible moon monsters.
One of the most distinct eras for the horror genre was the 1950s. The Cold War was underway, and the world of horror merged with the world of science fiction. This was the Atomic Age. The era was defined by the threat of atomic weapons and the curiosity of the new frontier known as outer space. Audiences were terrified by alien invaders, monsters born of toxic radiation, robots, mutations, and science experiments gone wrong. I've already covered some big names like the Blob, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Thing from Another World, and of course, Godzilla. But there are so many others, and the market was oversaturated with all sorts of B-movie monstrosities. For every Gill-Man or Blob, there were countless creatures like the Wasp Woman or the ridiculous Ro-Man from the famously horrible Robot Monster.
There is no escape from me.
But more on him another time.
Very well. I will recalculate.
This year, 13 Days of Halloween is back, and we'll be taking an in-depth look at the scientific horror of the 1950s. Some good, some bad, all black and white. So grab some popcorn, put on your 3D glasses, and get ready to duck and cover for 13 Days of Halloween. It's gonna be out of this world.
If I'm not funny, I won't be able to live with myself.
Well, then you'll have to get another apartment, won't you?